All right. Hi, everyone. Welcome to the last and closing group session. Carly and I will be co-leading today, and we are excited to do so. We would like to begin with a check-in on how you're all feeling. So at this time, go ahead and choose an emoji that best describes how you feel at this moment. And you can feel free to share why if you would like.
I forgot how to pick an emoji.
React.
Yeah, and
Click the
then
little
like
heart.
hit the little
Mhm.
carrot and then you can choose your emoji. Celebrating the poop emoji, Barbie.
That's the way I feel today.
That's fair. We have some celebrations going on. I think Laura had a heart. Ariel had a heart.
Mhm. Good. Okay, so does anyone want to explain how or why they're feeling what they're feeling today?
I feel like shit.
Oh, I'm sorry,
Um,
Barbie.
Yeah,
I'm kind of with you though. That's why I did like the blowing nose emoji. I think I have a sinus infection. So,
I,
um, if I turn off my audio for a moment to blow my nose, please forgive me.
I wish mine was a cold. I think I'm gonna quit my job tomorrow.
Oh, wow.
Wow, that's a big life
That's big.
change.
That is a big
Mhm.
life change.
Okay. And Malia did celebrating because what this is our final group, yes?
Woohoo!
Yeah, just I feel like we have kind of progressed. Like we've
Mhm.
dug it deeper each time. So even if like circumstances aren't great in our lives, I feel like we've accomplished a lot and grown a lot throughout these groups. So yeah, I think we've been doing great.
Yeah, that's definitely something we're going to talk about today. Um, and I saw hearts, everyone just feeling good, other than poor Barbie, who's stressed and going to potentially make a big decision tomorrow. Yeah.
Laura, I saw,
Guys,
I think it was the annoyed emoji.
yeah, it wasn't annoyed. I come either every Wednesday or Thursday to my 95-year-old mom's home um
Mhm.
to offer care, comfort, whatever. And today was a hard one. My mom is declining, and there are moments where I just kind of lose it. I
Mm,
was taking her to the bathroom, and she's just so skinny and frail and weak, and she's falling more easily and getting more confused, sleeping more. So, yeah, just one of those days. But I agree with Malia that I was, happy to come here and see you guys. Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks for sharing, Laura. Sounds
mhm,
difficult, but I hope that you'll feel a little better after today's session. Just like these 2 hours for us to just connect.
Mhm.
mhm. Yeah. It's definitely hard to watch somebody you care about change in a way that's so just life altering. So I'm sorry to hear that that's something you're experiencing, Laura. And
Thank you.
I agree with Cynthia that hopefully you feel a little bit better by the end of this, even just for your own heart. Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay.
Thanks.
So just to review very quickly our group rules, please, if you are not in a confidential space, make sure that you have your headphones on um, and or move to a private space if possible. Remember that anything that's shared in group is going to stay in group. And Cynthia and I are co-leading, and so we will both be taking different parts as leaders today. We'll also share if that's appropriate. We want it to feel just a continuation of everything that we've done over the last 5 weeks, 4 weeks, but just with the two of us sharing the space as a leader. So um, we have some activities and some rounds planned. And before we get started, though, I want to take a moment to check in for any unfinished business. Barbie, sorry, go back to the group rules. Barbie mentioned that if she's off camera, it's because she's nursing, which is absolutely fine. Again, I might mute to blow my nose, but I'm here present with you guys. Does anyone else have any other needs for today? No? Okay. So back to that check-in, is there anything that anyone feels like maybe they didn't share or say in previous sessions that they would like to share or get off their chest today? The last thing that we want is for anyone to walk away from the group and feel as though they had something that was still resonating and heavy with them that they didn't express. Anyone good? Okay.
I feel like we all do a good job of processing.
Yeah,
I agree.
good. I agree too. Okay,
All right.
Cynthia.
All right. Well, yeah, these past couple of weeks have been great. It's a bittersweet feeling to end. Bitter because we genuinely, well, I can speak for myself. We all look forward to these meetings together. But sweet because looking back, we've just learned so much. And these group meetings have been such a safe space for all of us to share our challenges and relate through them. We started off acknowledging how different we are, but then we connected through so many ways. And I think that's just beautiful. Just to kind of summarize what's been covered these last couple of weeks, at our first session, we had Laura start off with a bang, discussing counseling as our profession and what led us to choose counseling as our life's work. And in that session, we all connected through sharing the different hurdles that have led us to wanting to help others. And then Ariel followed beautifully, discussing needs in society that we intend to fulfill through counseling, including we mentioned advocacy work and pro bono services. And then the third session, we had Malia um, assist us in discussing the roles and personal qualities that we have developed within our families and how these experiences, both good and bad, may influence our future work. And then last week, we had Barbie discuss how painful or emotionally significant experiences have shaped us and our development as future counselors. Something that was really powerful was the invisible backpack activity. I think that we all connected and shared so much to that. And so today we are just going to focus on closing the group and just closing our time together and reflecting on, again, everything that we have learned, our biggest takeaways, and what we plan on taking from our time together and how we plan on applying it into our future personal life and then just overall professional development.
Okay, so with all of that said, something specifically that I noticed and will share, this leads into the question, was just the fact that everyone did come so openly to the group and found safety in sharing with everyone present. And so we wanted to find out from you guys, how long did you think or would you expect that it would take to build trust in a virtual setting? And how quickly did each of you feel connected to this processing group?
I thought it would take forever for me personally, but I found myself very close in the matter of, like 2 hours, like after the first session, just the empathy and, the safety in that empathy. So I thought it was fairly quick.
Yeah, I think for me, I think it helps that we all want to be counselors. And so our personalities are geared toward being open. Uh, that it's not going to be the case in every group. I mean, I felt comfortable, you know, the first session. Um, but I think probably in a normal group, if it were, 8 sessions, I think it would probably take, for me personally, probably at least 2 sessions just to get to know people, um, and feel like I can trust them with deep, realities and truths.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but this one definitely was quicker because I knew some of you, but also just the nature of what we're doing is unique.
Yeah.
I think that our group was definitely not representative of what we're going to experience as professionals. Um, we're going to have a lot of things come up that we did not experience in this group. Um, and then in terms of me personally, I think I tend to be the kind of person that shares from the get-go, but it doesn't mean that I feel connected. And I think to some extent for me, I'm going to be paying attention to gauging that level of sharing to match um, the atmosphere of the group more closely because it can feel a little bit odd to have that one member just spilling their guts like right off the bat, you know? So I think that'll probably be something I think about or consider.
Mhm. I love that point that you just made about like sharing does not necessarily equal connectedness. I think that
Mhm.
that's huge and a really good and accurate reflection of just the truth of whether it's in a group setting or an individual setting or even with your friends, right? Like sometimes you can be openly sharing something with them and they're like, they're not on the same page about it at that moment in time. How about you, Ariel?
I would say, to just piggyback on what Laura said, I guess for me it was the opposite. Like Laura, when you shared, like that's what helped me actually share what I felt like it was safe to share. So I was like, oh, okay, we're going deep into like family
Mhm.
dynamics and
Mhm.
traumas and um I think for me that set the tone. I um I guess for me, I wouldn't want to be the first one to share simply because like I wouldn't want to I don't know, I guess I just wouldn't want to make anyone like uncomfortable. Like I don't know what like would be too much sharing or too little sharing. Like what Laura is talking about, like not feeling connected. Like you can definitely share surface level things and you can tell yourself like, oh, I'm just gonna share this and I think this will like be enough. Um but yeah, after Laura shared and after um I guess after all of y'all shared, honestly, every time y'all shared, I felt like I was safe. And um so yeah, so I'm actually really thankful that Laura shared as much as she did in the beginning because I don't think I would have been as engaged if she hadn't done that. So yeah.
Mhm. And also, I mean, I'm thinking of it in terms of a member. Like, I think it's different if you're the leader and
Hmm.
like, I'm doing that to set a tone, right? But
Right.
like, I was sort of thinking it in terms of like a future group, like me as a member. But you're right. I do agree that setting the tone is like, it would be a reason why you would do that. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, Ariel, just going back to what you were discussing. So I hear that sharing quickly itself isn't difficult, but the level of sharing that you do is what you think increases with time as you become more comfortable, which I think Laura also kind of touched on how sharing doesn't necessarily mean, hey, I'm feeling connected with you. I'm just sharing because we're going around a group and I feel inclined to do so.
Mhm.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. And with what Malia said too, with regard to the setting that we're in, right? And the fact that we're all learning and training specifically to become counselors. And Laura, I think you mentioned this as well, that these experiences are kind of singular to this space and that the real world is not necessarily going to be representative of this. Um, I certainly was concerned about how quickly people would feel connected. But then I also noticed and have like pre-established relationships or well, because of these connections that we've made in school, like I've built connections outside of school, right? And I think it does help to your guys' point that some of us were connected already coming into this space, and that leads to a level of comfort that may not be there otherwise. So yeah.
Yeah. I think a common theme that I'm hearing is that there are some fears in the sense that it was rather easy to connect just because we all knew each other, but it won't be that way in the future, especially because we're through Zoom. Being through Zoom is, you could say, easier as is. You're behind a screen versus being in person. And I think it's important to recognize and acknowledge that that's a valid fear to have, and that um, being in person is going to be particularly challenging. I don't know if anyone feels that way too, as to how a group setting in person will feel.
Mm.
Well, in person, you're not in the guise of your home and the comfort of your area. You could just, you know, I don't know. And in a in person, you're definitely like almost locked in.
That's a good point. I think that there's safety in your space, right? And then moving into a separate space that is maybe more clinical, even, right? That what is the setting that you're entering and the tone? And when you walk into the door, how does it feel? Does it feel warm and receptive and set a level of comfort? Or is it something that feels very cold and sterile? Or you're in this massive auditorium and there's a group of like 6 people, right? And it feels like the space is too big for the tight connection that you're trying to build. And so, yeah, I think absolutely setting is huge, environment is huge. And virtually, it's like that separation though can it's an interesting dichotomy because you're separate personally, but sometimes that can help or hinder how much you connect emotionally, right? Versus the in person when you can read the body language and you can sense somebody's feelings and emotions in a way that you can't necessarily in a virtual space. Um, so yeah, I think it'll be interesting to consider how we choose to engage in the counseling profession from that perspective moving forward, right? Like as professionals, are we going to lean into the virtual? Are we going to, I think now it's kind of like implied there are so many jobs that are open and available because of this virtual space that's been open to us as a result of COVID. But then some people just feel more drawn to being in person. And so I think it'll be interesting to see how that all plays out for everyone.
Yeah, I
I
can feel
went
myself.
to a I went to another small group just to like what we were talking about before, like getting more experience with like different kinds of groups. And oh my gosh, there was when you're talking about like comfortability of sharing in an in-person group. In this particular group, someone was sharing something quite deep. From their past. And there was a guy that was still just like eating the snacks in the background while he's sharing. And we're just like, everybody is locked in, even me as the observer. I'm just like, and yeah, he just kept like, and it was like the loudest snacks, like chips, pretzels. It was horrible. And I just stared at him until he stopped because it was like throwing everything off. And so
Gosh.
I I I'm really glad. I think part of what we're talking about here is having the rules set in the
Mhm.
beginning about us being respectful and being engaged. And I think that that has also set the tone as well. So, yeah.
Mhm.
Thanks for sharing, Ariel. I know, Malia, you were going to say something, and I also saw you shaking your head when Ariel was mentioning that the guy was eating the snacks. I'm curious to hear what you have to say about that.
Yeah, I was just gonna share that I think the convenience of doing like online therapy is definitely tempting. But I think the like haven't led a lot of groups, but I've been a part of a lot of groups, and I think the power of being together, being able to feel the emotions of others, to be able to read body language, to be able to co-regulate nervous systems. You can't, if you can,
Mhm.
I think you can probably do it virtually, but it's harder.
Yep.
Mhm.
And then I was also just remembering in the section we read in the cloud and Townsend book, how
Mhm.
the leader is I can't remember the wording, but like the protector of the group atmosphere, you know. So if there's
Mhm.
somebody eating chips while somebody's spilling their, trauma, the leader should have said something. I think they should have said, hey, put your snack away and focus.
Mhm.
This is disrespectful. And so
Yeah.
in a kind way, obviously, but I think that's really, really important. And that's even more important. And it's important both, but in person, like that can stop the group in its tracks. Some,
Mhm.
just dumb behavior that the leader needs to really step up and say something. And uh I wonder if I'll be able to do that. You know, uh,
Mhm.
yeah, I need to think about that.
I
Yeah,
think you
it would take
will.
practice.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe, hopefully.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you will. And like Ariel was saying, I mean, these situations when you see members like causing any sort of disruptive behavior remind you of the importance of like setting rules. For example, when we say things like at the beginning of the sessions, we're like, oh, I might mute myself or I might go off camera. And then when that happens, no one feels hurt because we had already set the group rules. And so you make a good point, Ariel, when you say that it reminds you of why rules are so important and
Mhm.
just for like overall group cohesion.
Mhm.
But yeah, so, and I know that a lot of you guys mentioned that it was a significant advantage that we all knew each other to some extent prior to beginning or prior to meeting in these group sessions. So it felt a little less intimidating, but I would say that we definitely all know each other on a much deeper and personal level now after these last couple of weeks. And so the next question that we have for you all is, and you can reference your Townsend book. It is on pages 231 through 232 if you have it near you. But the question, and I'll put it in the chat, is what is one gift that you feel each person in this group has and brought with them to the processing group? And I know this may take some time to think, so I'll give you guys a couple of minutes. But we're curious to hear what that is.
Yeah, so just to explain a little bit further, the book talks about, I think, 5 different ways in which people have gifts, and then that they can come out during the group process. So things like compassion and empathy, just being emotionally present, somebody who's additionally or extra insightful, um, or just knowledgeable about a subject, and then they bring that with them to the group and improve your knowledge through their own, right? Like all of Barbie's books, and I feel like, oh my gosh, okay, I now I have all of these new books to read, and I really appreciated that. That was something that she brought with her and has shared, and or just like generally wisdom and having discernment about certain things. So you guys just take a moment and think about some gifts that you might want to highlight for the members um, throughout the process.
Do you want us to think of one gift per
One for
person
each.
or just like pick one?
I think if you can think of one for everyone, that would be lovely. If not, and there's one that really stands out to you, then that's fine too. I think this is a safe space, and I'm not going to feel hurt if you don't call my name. I think I just want you guys to speak from your heart on this issue. Just what did you notice organically in our time together?
We don't have to use the gifts out of the textbook, right?
No, just an example.
Okay.
Yeah, I totally agree with Carly that if you're able to say something about everyone, that would be great. But if you don't feel like you have the right words, that's valid too, because that happens. It's a lot of pressure when you're going to speak about someone. You want to make sure that what you say describes exactly how you feel about them. So I know that can be a lot of pressure, but yeah.
Okay, I think I'm ready.
Okay.
I
Okay.
wrote mine down.
Yes, great.
Okay, so I'm just gonna go around. Okay, so for Cynthia, I wrote grounding and warm. I feel like whenever you talked, it just like if I was feeling anxious before, when you talked, I just felt like, ah, I don't know, I just felt like relaxed. The way you talked was very warm, very um, just helped me feel grounded. So that was great. For Barbie, I have humor and authenticity. And yeah, just feel more comfortable whenever she would crack a joke, but was very, authentic about even struggles with opening up. Like that's you know um comforting because I also struggle to open up. So and then for Ariel, I have openness and vulnerability, and she was really really willing to just kind of go deep and share really personal things. I mean, everybody did, but that's what popped up in my mind. And then for Laura, I have wisdom and knowledge. I feel like just she just was really able to make connections between her experiences and what we've been learning. I feel like the wisdom she learned with her kind of growing up with a family that was tough, really, she's really integrated that into her, uh, the wisdom she shared in our group. And then for Carly, I have insight and experience. I feel like you always were able to share really deep, insightful understanding for different things people were going through, like Laura, kind of make connections between kind of theory and practice. Also, you have a lot of experience as a school counselor. So that's been a huge benefit to our group. So, yeah, that's what I have.
Thank you for starting us off, Malia.
Sure.
I can go next. I said Barbie um, uses her instincts and trusts them. She trusts her instincts, and I value that because I'm the kind of person that can get into my head a little bit too much.
Mm.
Um, I feel like Malia was a steady presence. I would give her the word steady, like it made it feel safe and secure in our group. Um, Cynthia, I I felt like you had a level of optimism, um, and also openness. And then Ariel, I felt like you started out as being anxious and a newcomer, and then you settled in so quickly. Um, you worked so hard to get yourself kind of like adjusted and became such a part of our group so quickly. And then, Carly, I really did appreciate your professional wisdom in this setting. Um, did I get everybody? I think I did. Yeah. And then I also just appreciated Carly and Ariel for, being open about their trauma. And yeah.
Thank you so much for
Thanks,
sharing,
Laura.
Laura.
I'll go before he screams again. Um, Laura, Laura, I really feel like you're super strong in attunement. I feel like every time I interact or anybody interacts with you, you're super attuning. Um, and that's so comforting, especially in an environment like this where it's vulnerable. Um, Speaking on the vulnerability, Malia, you bring a sense of empathy that's like a warm, weighted blanket. And you're just I felt so comforted in that. I also seen that you not only were present with our experiences that we were sharing, but you felt them. There were
Mm.
moments where I've seen it on your face and I've seen tears in your eyes through this. Ariel, you bring a sense of resilience that is admirable. Um, and I think that's going to carry you super far as a counselor, because it's like you don't talk about it, you're about it. Um, Cynthia, I seen incredible leadership skills and logic. I seen that you were like able to regulate even if you felt dysregulated, and I feel like you could co-regulate another person easily. And Carly, I felt knowledge from you and wisdom, and I felt like you bring a piece that is authentic with that knowledge and wisdom. Like you've lived it, you've studied it, and you've worked in it, and I think that's amazing.
Thanks, guys. Ariel, did you go?
Not yet, sorry.
No, that's okay. I just wanted to make sure I was keeping track.
Yeah. I guess I just keep forgetting that you guys are co-leading, so I'm like just waiting for
Mhm.
Cynthia or Carly to go ahead. But I would say the same thing with Malia. Like your face, like helped me to know that you were listening. Like I don't know if you realize like you speak so much through your eyes. Like you listen with your eyes. And even though this is virtual, I'm like she is engaged and she is locked in every single second with every person's story. I could feel
Mhm.
and see like you are fully invested in whoever is speaking at the time. And I think that's such a beautiful gift for if you decide to like do group yourself. Like, I feel like you're going to help people feel seen and feel heard by not even saying anything, just by your presence. You carry so much presence. And so, yeah, that's been like a joy to see because I mean, as a caseworker, we're told to be very stoic and have flat affect, especially with investigations. And um, yeah, Barbie was right. Like, there's so much empathy in your presence.
Mhm.
So, yeah, Cynthia, you too. I felt like you have really great discernment. Like even like your diction, your word choice. Like I can tell like you um are very careful with what you share, how you share it, and the words you
Mhm.
use. And I feel like people will really appreciate you taking effort and taking time to reflect what they're saying. Like, even now, during the beginning of this group, when we were doing our activity, you said, Ariel, like, can I just clarify? Is this what you were saying? Like, that helped me feel heard. And I feel like that's going to be so vital for anyone who joins your groups. But yeah, and Barbie, the same thing. Like, I know that you didn't want to share details, but the fact that you felt okay and open and safe enough to tell us that, like, hey, this is what I went through, and I'm not at the point where I can share details. Like, I'm like, but that's like strength in and of itself to share with us your limitations. And I really appreciated that. And so, um, even though you didn't share details, I still like admire that you felt okay to tell us what your needs were with that. And the joking around, I know like what the Professor Gordon said, but it really did add a bit of levity to the
Mhm.
conversations. And it also like helps us to see that there is joy behind so much suffering. To see
Mhm.
you making jokes, to see you laughing, like there is something else behind pain that's worth fighting for. And so I actually really did appreciate you joking around sometimes. I wish that you could have done so more. Um, and Carly, just from day one, like when you were sharing the story about you ministering to those two
Mhm.
girls, I was like, oh my gosh, this is a mother. Like she just has such a nurturing spirit
Mhm.
about her. And I can just really see you nurturing other people that come across your path, like without giving them a hug and without, I know you had talked about before, like putting your hand on someone's back, but even just the way that you've affirmed people when they've shared their stories, like those affirmations, I feel sometimes are just as good as a hug, especially like in this setting where we have to be professional. Um, I feel like affirming someone can feel like there is like a hand on your shoulder. But yeah. And Laura, I was just so surprised when you did share your family dynamic because I feel like you just carry so much authority in your voice. Like even the way that you guided the first session, like it carried like so much weight, and just like even how careful you were to lead us into like certain areas of the conversation, like it was like in your voice and the way that you went about it, like I could see that there was strength in you, and like you um even the way that you encouraged us to share. I just feel like you are a leader. Like you saw that in Cynthia, but I feel like you are a natural leader and you have a gentleness about your authority. And I think that I don't know if even just kind of what you talked about like with your family, and it correct me if I'm wrong, but it kind of just sounds like that dynamic is still at play with your family. Um, I'm like, how does this woman just like, you're still able to be like independent and strong and focused and gentle? Like, I'm just so in awe at how you show up for us with a fresh face. Like, even like what you shared about your mom, like, you're here for us and you give us 100% of yourself. And I'm so thankful for that. So, yeah, I can just see you just like going through so much throughout the day and having a group. I don't know if this is healthy or not, but I'm like, I would have full confidence that Laura is going to be in her group 100% and be completely there for those people. And yeah, guys, y'all are
Gosh,
amazing women.
you're really good at this feedback, Ariel. And you made me almost cry right now.
Yeah. 10 out of 10, Ariel, for your
10 out of
sharing.
10, for sure.
Very personal for each
And then your
person. Yeah.
description was pretty accurate because, I'm a teacher and I showed up for those immigrants in my class every freaking day, no matter what shit show was going on behind the scenes.
I bet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we all would, though, honestly. I do. Yeah.
Yeah, that's real. I think for myself and Cynthia, we're leaders of the group today, but have been participants throughout the entire process, right? So I want to wear both hats for the moment and just share with you guys what I've noticed and seen and felt from you. I agree that Malia is just this like steady presence, and I think you do bring a level of just peace and like assuredness and um, dependence, like not in a bad way, but like people can depend on you, right? Like, and I think that that just shows up in the way that you are connecting and seeing people where they are. And so thank you, Malia, for that. And then Barbie, man, yeah, your humor is something I think that we all can appreciate. And but below that and deeper than that, I think there's just that the wisdom that comes from lived experiences. And we all have pieces of that. But I think I really appreciate and want to highlight what Ariel said about the strength that it requires to and the courage to say like this is something that I'm still working through and be authentic in it and not put up that mask like everything is fine and healed and it's all good and you've done all the work and you know all the things and just sitting in where you are and owning that takes a level of confidence. And I think just security in knowing who you are as a child of God. And I see that in you. Um, Laura, I think just so much maternal wisdom and strength, a lot of strength in everything that you've been through, how it's carried you, how it's shaping you, continuing to shape you, and the lessons that you're still learning. And I think the way that you affirm people and are um, always seeking to recognize them is valued, and I have valued it and seen how it has impacted people in the group. And so I think that that's something, a strength certainly that you carry and that will help you in this profession. Ariel, the ability for you to be vulnerable and um, I think draw from your experiences too, though, as a social worker and the things that you've seen. And it does create this kind of dichotomy of reality and like knowing how bad things are and how terrible they can be. But then your reflection back is always, how's God working in this? And so for me, I think your connection to your faith has been inspiring. And I loved that. Your prayer last week was incredible. Um, I think just even the reflection of this is something that like God is working on my heart and I'm still praying over this is huge. And so I value that from you. And then lastly, but not certainly not least, my co-leader, Cynthia. I think there is just measured, I think like a carefulness in the way in which you approach things and people just with so much care. And I think that it just shows how your heart is led to not want to cause any kind of harm, right? Like you are careful with your words. You do listen to people. And I think I've noticed that you listen before you speak and you're listening to really understand, not just to reply back or to say, like, I hear you. I think that there's so much care and processing that you like as you're taking in information, you're wanting people to feel as though they're seen, heard, and loved. And it's that unconditional positive regard, I think, is something that you bring so beautifully and eloquently to the group. And there's a level of just wisdom, educated wisdom and diction in the way that you talk about things and how you respond to people. And so I think for me, that's something that I've noticed and something that I would like to try to work on in my own life, like to be more measured before I respond, because that's an area that I'm not very strong. So I can own that, and that's okay.
Oh, thanks everyone for sharing. It's been so beautiful to hear these affirmations. I think that we don't think that others are listening or picking up on our habits, but hearing others identifying and acknowledging our habits and viewing them as gifts is such a beautiful thing to hear. So I'm so glad that we've all been able to share. I wrote mine down too, and I could really sit here for hours, believe it or not, even though we've only known each other for weeks, but I'll keep it short. I truly could sit here for hours though. I'd like to start with Malia. I think that, well, I've known you a little longer because we've had classes together, but I think when I think you, I think textbook definition of unconditional positive regard. No matter what the discussion is, no matter what anyone is sharing, you quite literally model what unconditional positive regard looks like, and your future clients will be so lucky to have someone that will offer them unconditional positive regard, and so I admire you for that. As for Carly, you carry yourself with so much wisdom. I'm since I met you, I've been so particularly inspired by the fact that you are already doing counseling, but you are going on this journey, quite literally went back to school to get an additional counseling degree to help even more. It's like you hear these questions when someone says like, "Oh, if you could make a greater impact in the world, like what would you do?" And you're quite literally doing that. Like you decided to take on this new journey and not only counsel like students, but also individuals and families. And it's just so admirable. As for Barbie, like everyone, I really appreciated your humor, which is very much needed in difficult moments. You always found a way to bring light to any difficult moments that we had. And I think that what the biggest takeaway or the biggest thing that I noticed about you is your transparency. And I think that you modeled to us what transparency looks like and why it's so important. For example, there were moments where you said like, hey, I have this that I've been through, but I don't want to discuss it just yet. Instead of saying like, oh no, there's nothing to see there, and that's already being vulnerable, saying like, hey, I have this going on, but I'm not going to share it today. And so modeling transparency is such a gift, and your future clients will also be very lucky to have you. Um, as for Laura, I think that when I think Laura, I think calm demeanor. I always feel safe whenever you're talking. Ever since the first beginning, the beginning group session, I know that you were the one that started. You set the standard so high. I know that you mentioned feeling nervous, but you did not look nervous at all, which made me terrified for when it would be my turn. Just because you made it look like easy. And then I know afterwards you were like, oh no, like I just kind of threw something together, but it went great. And you really, I don't know, I was really inspired, but also terrified after you did your first session. Uh,
Wow.
yeah. And then last but not least, Ariel. When I think Ariel, I think resilience. I will never forget the day that you led the group session. I know that you shared with us that you had been battling some stuff right before. You were not having the greatest day, and yet you were able to beautifully lead that day, which is not easy. We all know that it's not easy to do something like that. So again, when I think Ariel, I think resiliency, and it makes sense why you work in what you work right now. I think that you're in the perfect career. And yeah, I admire you. I admire everyone. Um, yeah, it's been great to share these affirmations. I hope that everyone has enjoyed that.
Yeah. And I hope that everyone is feeling like they have been really seen and heard and throughout this process. And even it's though it's only been for 4 weeks, this is our fifth week together, right? Like that you're coming to be known as well. And um, we've done a lot of growing and sharing together. And so this next question is how do you intend to commit yourself to improving personally and professionally in an area of growth that you've experienced recently?
Would you
Cynthia's going to put it
restate
in
the
the chat.
question? Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I need to kind of look at that.
So, with regard to all of the growing professionally and personally that's taken place over the last few weeks, how do you intend to commit yourself to continuing to grow in that area?
I'm going to start off just because I have something ready. I I'm in therapy now, and
Mm-hmm.
I just started doing EMDR with my therapist. And last week was only the second session, but already something surprising came up for me. And it made me realize how much that affects my relationships, not just in the therapy room, but also my relationships in life. And so I'm really committed to continuing my EMDR and attempting to face this barrier that almost immediately came up, um, and really working to resolve it. Yeah, so that's what it is for me.
Thanks, Laura.
I feel like today, um, I have always struggled with boundaries and like overextending myself. And that's been my weakness my entire life, my weakness throughout the program. And today I just said like I want quality of life, and the boundary is like I'm going to quit my job tomorrow
Mm-hmm.
because um it's not healthy, and it's it's a big decision, but I'm just gonna ride on a prayer, and um it's a boundary I have to take because now I am a new mom. Um, I am don't have the support system, as you guys know, of a family.
Mm-hmm.
And my entire body is broken out in shingles. And I know if
Mm-hmm.
it's going to do this to my body, what kind of energy am I putting into my son? So I don't want him to absorb my stress. And I am going to walk away from that job tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
That's huge, Barbie. Yeah.
Mm.
I
Yeah.
think faith is faith. We have to have faith in when it's easy and when it's hard, right?
Mhm.
So I commend you for taking that step forward and doing what you feel in your heart is best, right? Like that's all you can do. That's all. And you just gotta trust that it's gonna work out.
It's a six-figure job too that I'm walking away
Mm.
from.
Whew. Well, we can pray for you,
Thank
Mhm.
you.
of course. Yeah.
That's incredibly brave. Incredibly
Mhm.
brave. But yeah, you have that intuition, you know it's the right thing to do. And God will bless that.
Mhm.
Maybe not financially, but definitely emotionally.
On what Barbie was saying, I just realized that I think because me quitting my job has been so fresh, I've been talking to you guys as if I'm still working there because it's
Mhm.
been my whole life. But I quit my job too, Barbie.
Yeah.
Um, and it was something the Lord had been leading me to do. I also got shingles as well.
Mhm.
Like it's so health, like personal life, relationships, friendships, everything was just kind of going downhill because of this job. And I really felt like the Lord leading me a long time ago to quit. And I went ahead and took the step of faith. And I just found out, guys, that they're getting sued, that they like, I think like embezzled like millions of dollars that went unaccounted for. And so like, I was like, oh my gosh, God, you were really watching out for me. Like if I
Mhm.
had waited, if I had waited even a couple of weeks, um, but even now, like with like I guess this kind of goes hand in hand with like growing personally and professionally. I'm looking at jobs that I believe that I can do, that I deserve, and I know I can do the work. Like I always used to settle for those case manager jobs because it's a
Mhm.
revolving door and I know that they're just going to hire anyone and I can ask for whatever salary I want because I got the experience, but I'm like, "Wait, no, I can do something that actually like will offer work-life balance."
Mhm.
So in the process of applying for jobs, and I'm so tempted to like go after those entry level ones, and I'm like, no, 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 like you deserve better, like you deserve to have fulfilling like professional and personal life. So yeah, guys, that's what I'm doing right now.
Great.
Awesome.
Good, Ariel.
I feel like we're all going through transitions because I was involuntarily transferred out of my adult ed job to a high school teaching position because of
Mm.
budget cuts. And I have literally not talked about it because I don't even want to like acknowledge it right now. But in a way, it's a blessing because the boss that I had at this job was causing me so much stress.
Mm.
So I just feel like, in a way, like you guys, like it needed to happen.
Yeah.
Yeah. For me, kind of similar to what Laura said, continuing my own, uh, you know, counseling. Honestly, EMDR is pretty powerful. Brought up some stuff I need to continue working on, but I think that I tend to. I think it was Brene Brown who said like hustle for your worth. Like I tend
Mm.
to try to perform in order to earn love or whatever, and that's just not sustainable. And I tend to get exhausted. So I know I'm going to need to work on some of those issues so I can rest enough because being a counselor is going to be incredibly taxing emotionally. And I need to be able to set boundaries and not be working like all the time in so many ways and taking on so many responsibilities that I'm going to burn out. So that's something I need to kind of resolve some of those, those core, probably attachment issues, um, so that I can rest, like really
Mhm.
rest. Yeah, that's what I'm going to work on.
That's great reflection, Malia. Thank you.
Mhm.
Yeah, a common theme that I'm hearing is the importance of recognizing your worth, uh,
Mhm.
and setting those boundaries to bring out the best version of yourself. And I also liked or resonated with Lauren when you mentioned recognizing that healing is important to achieving the best version of yourself. I think that that's something that I personally also intend to commit myself to. And it's not easy to like address and acknowledge like, hey, these are the issues that I need to heal from. But I think that understanding that healing will truly bring the best version of yourself and help you deliver the best service that you can to your future clients. That's like the best motivation
Mhm.
to pursue healing. So thank you so much for sharing. I needed to say that because I resonated so much when you shared that.
Mhm. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, everyone. So we are going to go ahead and move on to an activity that we have for today. So this activity is a reunion fantasy, which you guys may recognize from the textbook reading. So reunion fantasies are an excellent exercise in closing growth group sessions like the one that we're in today. And the purpose of a reunion fantasy exercise is to get members to project their lives into the future. And so at this time, I would like you to relax. Close your eyes if that's comfortable for you. You don't have to, but if that's comfortable, go ahead and do so now. And I want you to imagine that the time is 5 years from now. And 5 years from now, you are done with practicum, done with internship, and you are living your counseling dream. And so, what does that look like? What's your area of focus? And is there any area you'd like to explore further? And so, again, just imagine that the time is 5 years from now. Once again, you're done with your board exams, you're done with that all, and you're just now living your counseling dream. And what does that counseling dream look like for you? What's your area of focus? And is there any area that you'd like to explore further? And you can feel free to open your eyes and share as soon as you are ready to do so.
I'll go.
Great.
So 5 years from now, I want to be in private practice, working with trauma, like specialties in trauma, sex addiction, betrayal trauma. Um, and I want to be working on my PsyD or doctorate. I don't know which one I'm going to choose. And I'm really interested in psychedelic psychotherapy.
Okay, I can go. So in 5 years, I hope to be working with women, primarily, possibly teens. We've had some family issues with my nephew that have opened me up to the possibility of potentially working with teens, but definitely with women who have experienced complex trauma, emotional and spiritual trauma. So I also have a master's in theology. So that's kind of my background. And so I would like to work at a church and work with women who are experiencing trauma in marriage, trauma in church related atmospheres, um, and helping them process that and kind of bringing kind of psychology and spirituality together, if they want that, of course. And I know that I will need a lot more training in trauma, in complex trauma. So I'm looking at, there's a couple different modalities I'm interested in, narrative therapy, possibly EMDR. And then I'm definitely tend more toward kind of psychodynamic uh, um, theories. So kind of incorporating those with um, like theology that I've learned that has really honestly been incredibly grounding for me through different emotional, struggles that I've had. So just finding a way to bring those things together for women in particular. Yeah.
I'll go next. My mind went so many zillions of different places when you said this. And I might tell you something today, and you might meet me in 5 years, and I'm going to be like in some totally different thing
And that's
because
okay.
I feel like I have a lot of possibilities for myself. But one of them for sure, I would like to teach at a junior college on the side of also being a therapist. And one of the things that I've been doing lately for myself that I have, and I also took a master's class way back when I was just graduated from my psychology degree in dream therapy. And to help myself, I've been logging my dreams and then using AI to help me process them, but also having my therapist help me process them as well. And I can see a connection between that and the other somatic therapies as well. Um, and I freaking love it. I freaking love it. Like that part of me that's creative, that recognizes symbols and patterns and themes. Um, and then it is like so freaking exciting to me when our brain does something for us that we can't do for ourselves in waking life, and it does it in images and themes. That is to me like the most freaking exciting thing. And every time when I put my dream down in my journal and then sit there and pick it apart, I'm never fail to be flabbergasted and completely surprised by the ability of our brain to take images and make them into a story that is digestible for ourselves. And it allows us to process content that we otherwise are unable to process during the day. So, and I even said this to my therapist, I think it's definitely going to be in my wheelhouse. Whatever I do, I'm going to be um, incorporating dream work for sure.
Cool.
I don't really like to compare myself with anyone, but um, I just imagine myself doing the same work as Christine Kane. I don't know if y'all have heard of
Mm,
Christine Kane, where she's helping victims who've been, who are survivors
trafficked.
of human trafficking, and
Mm,
she trains other people to help and nurture and help these women find new lives after being
mm,
trafficked. So that's kind of what I see myself doing. I think in 5 years, I would see myself teaching others what I know and having some kind of organization, like whether it be like a halfway house or a transitional house. That's always my dream, to have a place where people can come and rehabilitate. Um, so that's kind of, I don't really see myself doing any more schooling, but just as soon as I get that certification, creating a safe place for people who are in danger to just start over again. Um, but yeah, I don't know if y'all have heard of Christine Kane. If y'all, Google her, that's kind of like um, what I see myself doing. And in a way, that's like I think that's big picture, but small picture. Um, my Barbie, I also have a spiritual mom mentor. Her name is Julie Lopez. Y'all can Google her too, but she is a minister who is a psychologist as well, and she does deliverance ministry. And um, deliverance ministry, like, saved my life. Um, and I won't get into the details of it, but I can see myself offering that to like maybe a handful of people, like kind of what Malia was talking about. Because I also studied, I was a theology minor. So also kind of marrying seminary with psychology and being available to the church as well. So yeah, we'll see. That sounds like a lot of stuff. I haven't completely worked it out yet, but man, that was a good question. Thank y'all for asking it.
You're welcome. I'm glad you've got big dreams. And Ariel, I love Christine Kane, and I know all about A21 and the work that she does. I read quite a few of her books, and just she's an incredible force of nature. That woman, she's really doing amazing things out there. So yeah, and what a great goal for yourself, and such an honorable pathway to want to be connected in and move forward and help that population of humans who man, woman, child, right, who are taken advantage of in very terrible ways. And so that's awesome. You guys all have great and amazing plans. I'm similar with Laura. Like, I think I'd like to stay somewhat connected to education. I really love being in education. It presents opportunities to connect with kids that you wouldn't necessarily have otherwise because not everybody can afford therapy. And so then my question is like, how can I be effective and of use in the capacity that God's placed me in, and then I'd probably like to do some stuff outside of that as time allows, but that's the 5-year plan. Maybe in 5 years I'll be looking at doing some, even if it's pro bono work, like with my church. And that's kind of where my heart was when this all started. Like I shared with you, and Ariel mentioned earlier, like the two women who were sitting in the rocking chairs at that women's retreat. And then like God just knocked on my heart and was like, hey, like you should look into this, And so um, I think that'll be a pathway forward for me, the one that I'm considering the most for sure. Cynthia?
Yeah, thanks everyone for sharing. I think that some keywords that I heard a lot were training and teaching,
Mm-hmm.
and I think that both are great. I know that Leah, when you mentioned like, oh, already planning on like seeking additional training for trauma, and Laura and Ariel saying like, oh, I plan on teaching. I'm like, what? Like, not only are you going to work as a counselor, you're also going to teach and share your knowledge. I mean, I'm inspired. I resonated the most with Laura though. When I first read this question and learned about this exercise, I was like, well, knowing me, my plans are going to change. I will have a different answer by next year. But I think that's totally fine, especially I don't know about you guys. I haven't started my internship and practicum yet, but I'm sure that once we do, we might become interested in different areas of focus. I
Mm-hmm.
know, like me personally, I've always dreamt of working with people that are suffering from chronic terminal illnesses and just like quality of life and the different lifestyle changes that they have to live with just because of personal experience and like family members that have dealt with that. But I'm sure that as I start um, visiting different clinical sites and completing my hours, I might be interested in new things. So, like Laura, I'm open for new paths down the road, but it's definitely inspiring to hear how big everyone's dreams are. Like I know Barbie mentioned private practice,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
which sounds incredible.
What about psychedelic psychotherapy? Nobody wants to trip on some mushrooms?
Now,
I think it's
actually,
awesome that you said that, especially with regard
yeah.
to like the veteran community, Barbie. Like
Yeah.
that's huge.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's like a 63% like symptom alleviation rate with PTSD when it comes to
Yes.
MDMA.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I think that's wonderful. Yeah.
No, I
Yeah.
meant to say something at that
Yeah.
time because yeah, that's a new and upcoming thing. And um I actually tried mushrooms. You can buy them online and it didn't really, I don't know. I wish that I had someone kind of guiding me through,
Mhm.
but
That's what a
there's something,
clinician would do.
yeah,
Mhm.
exactly. So I think, yeah, that's a
I had a
definitely an
mushroom
area.
not long ago, probably about 3 years ago. Um,
Mhm.
and it's called penis envy, like after Freud. And
Oh, how
man,
funny.
if you didn't know God, you knew God after that. But I did it with a shaman. And I've
That's
actually
cool.
been to Peru and did frog venom and ayahuasca. And that was
Ooh,
very healing. Very dark, but very healing.
yeah.
I had a
You definitely
friend,
need support. Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, I had a friend do ayahuasca and she said it's something you can only do once,
Yeah,
like in a set many years. It's one of those very life-altering experiences.
definitely.
Yeah.
And
I
you,
don't know if y'all have heard of Serenity Mental Health Centers.
Mm-mm.
But they're kind of doing what you guys are talking about with like ketamine therapy. And now that I think like those executive orders were signed, I think they're going to start introducing um, like other psychedelic therapies. So I don't know if y'all want to look them up, Serenity Mental Health Centers, and to get a certification to help apply the therapy. You don't need a license yet.
nice.
um, yeah, you can have a bachelor's in a social science and go ahead and start working in there. But it
I
kind of
might
sounds,
apply there tomorrow.
hey, there you go. Yeah.
Get it, Barbie.
No, yeah, psilocybin is an up and coming thing. It was in research in
Mhm.
the 60s and then they took it out, of course.
Mhm. Yeah. All right, you guys. Well, we're going to move into the closing part of our group and just a couple of things to close with. Firstly, I think what is going to be your primary takeaway from the group is part A, and then part B is what are you going to miss from the group? So, what's your primary takeaway, and then what's something that you're going to miss?
I can start with this one actually. I mean, there are so many takeaways. We've had an incredible time together, but my primary takeaway for sure, which I was thinking of when we were discussing the virtual setting at the beginning, is that virtual group sessions can be just as effective as in person. I don't know if anyone remembers, but I mentioned feeling a little apprehensive at first, just because I've never, other than like our lectures, I've never been in a group setting virtually, and I wasn't sure how easy it would be to connect to others. And again, even though we all kind of knew each other in one way or another, we have connected on such a deep level that I guess you wouldn't think of right away, like, oh, that's not possible. And even the book mentions like, hey, virtual setting is very different. And
Mhm.
so that's my primary takeaway for sure, is just it can be just as effective as in-person group therapy, if not more, especially for people who have um, transportation barriers and can't get to physical group settings.
Mhm.
That is mine.
I would say mine is it's just reiterated to me in things that I've done in life that vulnerability creates connection. And that's where healing really happens and we can transcend from some of our pain. And like I've said before, I cannot expect a client to go farther than myself and felt like I went a little farther on the whim outside of my own therapy with my own therapist. So I feel like there was a little growth. I mean, it wasn't like a big old jump, but I dipped my toe. By allowing myself to share parts of my own story, um, and you guys supported me without judgment, like I gained like a deeper appreciation for this. And I have stepped into a new level of trust. So I'm actually gonna miss you guys.
Mhm.
That's what I'm gonna miss a part of this is, someone to share shit emoji with and then grow.
Mm. Yeah, I think my takeaway is that we have to engage our own story honestly and thoroughly so that we can really have empathy for other people's stories. Um, and I think we did that. And uh, yeah, it was so great to hear people's stories. Um, and I'll miss just, I mean, just connecting and just hearing from you guys. I was actually on vacation last week in Hawaii, and I still wanted to come to our meeting. And my husband was like, "What? Can you just not go?" I'm like, "No, I have to go. I'm not going to miss it." So I like the family all went to the beach, and I did our meeting. So I'll just miss, talking with you guys, and hope we can keep our little uh, text thread going.
Something that um, will stick with me, and also something that I'll miss in my life. I have a bunch of relationships where I'm not really hanging with my people. Like, I find communication very difficult. When I express myself, I don't feel like I'm met with understanding or attunement. Even with my own children, I'm perky and excited to talk to people in the morning, and half my family members have their headphones on and they're grumpers in the morning,
Mm.
you know. And so I'm just so freaking grateful that I made my way to this program and I got to experience being in a group with people who actually freaking get me.
Mm.
It's so hard to be in this world and feel like people don't get you. And I was beginning to wonder if I was ever going to find my people. So this group has made me realize that my people are out there. I just have to get myself to the place where they are.
Mm.
And like if we can do this for each other, then we can facilitate this for others. And
Yeah.
that's the takeaway for me is like what we did here for each other. It's going to be a different version of it, but we can do this for others. And I think
Yeah.
that's the whole reason why we're here anyway, right? They're going to experience their people too, you know? Whatever the theme of the group is, they're there because they're connected around that theme. And they're going to get to hear other people who can relate to them. And it's hugely powerful. Yeah.
Thank you so much for sharing, Laura. We can and should continue our group texts and discussions. We've worked so hard to make this connection. It would be
Mhm.
sad to lose it. And I think that the biggest thing that stood out to me right now when you were mentioning yearning for your people is that on numerous occasions, Barbie actually um, highlighted how much of a difference you were in her life and the impact that you had throughout her pregnancy. That was like the first thing I thought
Mhm.
of when you mentioned like um, feeling grateful that you found your people. I was like, oh, she was that person for Barbie, and I know that she mentioned it many times. So I hope you know that the kind of the friend that you are, you deserve to have friends that are just like that, and I hope that you can see us that way.
Hmm.
I
Yeah.
love
Thanks,
you,
guys.
Laura.
Aw, thank you.
You're welcome.
And just to add to that too, like what a blessing that you and Barbie were put in this group together, right? For this extended period of time to be able to really process and get to know each other on an even deeper level than what you had already established previously. And with Barbie, you also got the rest of us, right? And so I think that's just, yeah, it speaks to the power of connection. And Laura, I just wanted to hug you through the screen, and it's been wonderful to have you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Ariel?
I'd say that, Laura, I was exactly where you were right now, probably 5 minutes before we started. That's why I came in right at 7 o'clock, and I had like worship music blaring because I was in a I kind of just hit a low point there for a few seconds, and I was like, do I just always have to settle for less? Do I just have to like
Mhm.
settle for less in friendships, in relationships? And I just really got down about it. And I was like, no, like I deserve more. I am a valuable person, and I have these dreams, and I'm going to reach them, and I'm fixing to get on a Zoom with amazing women who are pursuing the same thing that I am. And so that, like, honestly, like, this group really brought me out of that dark place literally 5 minutes before the Zoom. And um yeah, this is not easy to find every day. This is not something that you um I would say, even in the program, I've only been in the program a year, and I've had different homework partners, but this group is seriously a gem, and it really gives me hope, the same as Laura, that I'm going to find like-minded people that are pursuing the same thing, that are wanting to make a change and help others. And so yeah, I'm definitely taking away like a lot of self-worth and and
Mhm.
value, and respect for myself, after being in this group. And yeah, I'm definitely gonna miss you guys. Um, but yeah, if it's okay, if we can still send texts in the group chat, that would be great. Um, I remember I can't even remember what it was. I found like a funny meme, and then I was like, is it too soon to put that in the group chat? Like, do we need to wait until the group is over to
Absolutely
like
not.
No, full send. Full send. Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. I think my takeaway is going to be really just that space doesn't always determine levels of connection, right? Like I think we've talked a lot about the differences between in person and virtual. And like I mentioned earlier, I have relationships that I've built with people in this program. And like I text all the time with you guys know Erica. Like I was talking to Erica today. And so like I think just keeping the connections alive when they're presented to you, right? Like not letting the distance become the factor as to why you don't send the text, or thinking that it's weird, Ariel. It's not weird, send it. And so I think, yeah, because that's funny things, right? Like just I was thinking about you. Um, that's what keeps us connected, right? And I think what I'll miss is really, yeah, just this dedicated time every week to connect with you guys. And it feels like just building those relationships in a way that's authentic and true to what Laura was saying too. Just about as far as like having people that are on a similar level, like that understand you, that have shared interests, that you've been open and vulnerable with and like can are continuing to grow with too, right? Like that's part of this whole process is growing together and without any fear, shame, judgment, just coming as you are. And I think that that's what is so sacred about it. And I think speaking for myself, what I'll miss.
Thanks so much for sharing, everyone. I really do hope that we can continue our group thread or text thread that we have going on. Um, yeah, like everyone mentioned, it's so difficult to find a group that you can really connect with. Like Ariel, that was one thing that I noticed these last couple of weeks is that I've been in several group settings now, like for homework, partner assignments, and things like that, and not bad experiences at all. But this one has felt so unique, and I'm so
Mhm.
grateful for it. Um, I don't know. It's been incredible. And so for our very last activity, I don't know what you guys think. Do you feel ready to close off and process or?
Ariel, you're muted, honey.
Either way. Yeah.
Okay, this was just something quick that we thought would be kind of fun. And the activity is just to take 60 seconds to think about a song that represents where you are in life right now and share it. And then maybe we can put it in the text feed and then we can listen to it later. If you guys need a minute, take a minute and just think about what's a song that signifies where you are, what you're feeling.
But what if we have
If,
like 85?
girl, I have like 85 too, but I just had to narrow it down to one.
Send me your playlist.
Huh?
I'll send you my works, what I've written.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's even better.
Even better. Yeah.
Like where we feel like we're at in life, like right now, or
Yeah,
okay.
whatever you feel like is on your heart right now, where you are in life.
I can share mine to start off. I immediately thought when Carly and I were discussing this exercise, I immediately thought of Dog Days Are Over by Florence and the Machine, just because these last couple of years, I was just so torn as to what my future would look like. And that was arguably harder than like my master's degree itself, like the work that it's been, because I feel overwhelmed, yes, especially right now with like week 7 coming, but also just so excited for the future, excited and inspired. You know, the dog days are over, the better days are coming. Hearing everyone else's dreams and plans is just inspiring me further. So that's my song, and I'll put it in here so you guys can listen later.
Will someone
For
type?
me, oh, go ahead, Barbie. What is it?
Um, oh, sorry, baby. I just scared him.
Oh,
Hard th I Can Do Hard Things by Jennifer Nettles.
I love Jennifer Nettles. What's the message behind it?
I can do hard
How is
things.
it resonating with you? You can do hard things. Yes.
Yeah, like
Job,
yeah,
mom. Yeah.
yeah, and do
Yeah.
it by myself.
Yeah. For
I just put
me,
three
and
in.
oh, go ahead, Malia.
I just put three in there. I just started typing all of them. I have a bunch of them. A couple of them are funny. Uh, one is Get Better. Anybody like Nothing But Thieves? They're great. Great band. Anyway, you might not know them. That's a fun song. It's like, will I ever get better? Like, am I ever
Mhm.
going to get better? So that's what I think of whenever I'm doing counseling work, schoolwork. Am I ever going to get better? But Broken Pieces
Mhm.
Shine by Evanescence is a great song. It's like redeeming pain. Um,
Mm.
it's an awesome song. Listen to it. It's awesome. If you like rock type, which I like.
Amy Lee has an incredible voice.
She,
Hmm.
she's
Amazing.
amazing. She's awesome.
Mhm.
Yeah. Anything by them, really. But that one is yeah, redeeming pain and vulnerability and unity and vulnerability. We can shine together. That's kind of the theme of the song. So it's awesome. Yeah.
So mine was Growing Up Raising You. It's kind of been the soundtrack to my life in the last little while because Gage, my oldest, is graduating and like he did graduate already. And now, like literally today and yesterday, no, not yesterday, today and tomorrow, he's going through the MEPS process, which is like your military enlistment processing, all of that. He's getting ready to join the Coast Guard. And Growing Up Raising You is exactly as it sounds. Like I had him when I
Mm.
was 22 and didn't have great examples as parents. And so it really has been this journey of like, who am I as a woman and as a mother? And then how am I raising him to be a wonderful human, and like how is he showing up, and he's a reflection of me, right? And so um wanting to do well at that. And so it's super proud moment for me and all of us as his family. But that's the one that's been resonating lately. So
I've been really into Bruno Mars' new album. I used a lot of
well,
it for choreography in my drumming classes. So I freaking love Bruno. He's amazing. And so he has the one song on his new album called Risk It All.
mm,
And I feel like a lot of us are at this point in our lives where we're ready to risk it all, like because we're ready for change, or we're ready for, the appropriate work-life balance, or we're ready for whatever it is, a new chapter. And we're taking that leap. A lot of us are taking leaps.
yeah, that shedding of old and becoming something new, like the metamorphosis of a butterfly, right?
Mhm.
Ariel, did you go already?
I didn't. No, I did not. I just didn't know that I was already the last one. Um, I would probably say um, the song "You Saved Me" by Upper Room. Um,
Mm,
uh, I mean, I've known Jesus my whole life, but I think like after going through like so much in the past 3 years, and like being angry and having to start over with like with counseling and like with a new apartment, with a new job, and just like getting frustrated and fearful and worried, like listening to this song is just helping to remind me that I need his grace. Like I can't save myself, and like salvation and sanctification is it's like a lifelong journey. And I just really feel like I fall into that like self condemnation a lot,
mm,
um, guilt and shame and self condemnation. And those are two things Jesus says, like to give him our guilt, to give him our shame. Those are not things that we need to hold on to. And so every time I'm like today, really condemning myself, like that's not why Jesus died on the cross, so that I could like sit here
mm,
and judge myself. Um, every time I listen to that song, it really takes me out of that place of lies that I've told myself, and guilt and shame, and reminding me that like I need his grace every single day. And it's okay to be angry and sad and lonely. Like he experienced all those things. And the fact that like in Isaiah 53, like it says that he took our sorrow and our sickness and our shame, like he took those things. He didn't deserve it. And then in return, like when I give him those things, he gives me his love. And it just seems so unfair. So
mm.
yeah, so that song has really kept me from some really dark places. So yeah, I'll put it in the chat.
Can I add another one?
Yeah.
It's like my favorite song in my entire life ever.
Please.
It's called Traveling Through by my idol, Dolly Parton.
I don't think I've heard it. What is like the main message behind this one?
That we're just traveling through every season, every decision. If we just lean on God and lean on Jesus, specifically Jesus, Dolly talks a lot about Jesus. That we're just travelers here. Like we're in our little flesh bags. Our souls are in our little flesh bags, just cruising around the earth trying to be perfect. And we don't need to be because we're loved. And um, yeah, there's like some really deep hitters in that song that like I've
Mm.
loved since It came out in 2011 in this movie called Transamerica. And I like Dolly I've been obsessed with since I was 3 years old. I felt like I shared the other night, like she raised me. And when that song came out, I'm like, this is my life. And I can see each season of my life in that song.
Mm. That's powerful, one that stands the test of time, right? Yeah.
Yes.
Another one, Ariel, as you were talking, that made me think that has been on repeat like recently is The Author by Brandon Lake and Nick Jonas. And if you guys haven't heard it, 10 out of 10 recommend. It's so good. It's talks about who are we to question the pen in the hands of the author, right? God's writing our story, and it's not on us to question what his plans for us are. Our job is just to be obedient and show up in faith. And so I think listening to God's voice when we hear it, right? Like that's the best thing that any of us can do for ourselves and for the people around us in order to be representative of what it's like to live a life that is Jesus like, Christ like, as a good Christian. And or just even outside of that, right? Like you make the decisions that are best for you with the choices and information you have at the time, and pray that that's enough, and live with authenticity and love. And I think that you're all great reflections and examples of that. And it's been a pleasure spending these last 5 weeks with you. And with that, we're going to close and process the processing.
Woo-woo. You guys did great. Jude said, yay.
Thanks, Jude.
He's the special guest
He
today.
approves.
Yes, best cheerleader.
You guys picked some really great exercises and topics. Yeah. It was the perfect ending.
Hmm.
It's like one of those movies that you go to the movie and you really like the ending for once.
Uh-huh. You're not disappointed in how it turned out. You don't want your money back.
No.
No.
And I still have a little popcorn left.
Love that. Well, did it feel as though it was co-led, or did it feel as though like one of us was doing more than the other?
It was seamless. You guys kind of went back and forth and explained. One would explain, the other one would lead the exercise. It was, yeah, it was seamless.
It was. I've been in co-led rooms before where it feels very disjuncted. I did not even notice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like peanut butter and jelly.
Salt and pepper just goes together.
Peanut butter.
And jelly.
Oh, I was thinking it's peanut butter jelly time.
That's a good one too.
That's about to be your guys' ringtones now. Speaking
Have you guys?
Laura, oh, sorry.
No, you're fine. Go ahead, Brian.
I wanted to mention what Laura was talking about earlier about like finding your people, but I didn't want to say it during the group. But girl, here's some people.
Yeah.
Even though we're not right next door, we're
sure.
here. Like I will totally send you like a shitty meme and tell you good morning every morning if you want that.
I just remember one of the days in one of our group sessions, and like when you're in a relationship where you're trying to explain how you feel, and no matter how you explain it, it's not landing, they're not saying it back to you. It feels so hard, like, or it just you're met with defensiveness or you're met with whatever. And then for me to say something and you guys would repeat it back so perfectly. Like I hardly even had to say it, and you just immediately knew what I was saying. And it's like, oh my God, it's true. Like, okay. there are people out there who I'm not speaking a foreign language, like,
Mhm.
yeah. And I hope I can be that for someone else. And you guys today were definitely that for us as well. Yeah.
That hour and a half flew by because of you two. Great job.
Oh, great. I'm glad.
Hmm.
I think
Yeah,
I was reading in the text how like ideally I know for myself when I prepared, I had like 10 different questions for you guys. But like I think that y'all had what was it like 3 to 4 really chunky questions for us and if I am remembering the Townsend book correctly, that's what they're saying like ideally you want those 2 to 3 to 4 questions that are really going to just draw and like build on each other. So I'm like, oh my
mhm,
gosh, they did a really good job with picking the questions and finding something that we could build upon. That actually took up I think just like, I think it was 2 questions that actually took up the majority.
mhm,
Because I remember looking at the time and I was like, it's been an hour and we've only done 2 questions.
Mm.
Um, but I mean, it's just a testament to you guys really taking time on what we were going to discuss and how we were going to close. So, yeah.
I really liked the activity of going around and each person saying the strengths of each of the other members. And I was thinking, as a teacher, would I really have every single member talk about every single member? And then in the end, I'm really glad that we did it that way. It was nice for each member to get feedback from every single other member and to have themes repeated
mhm,
and to have people piggyback on each other. And it created like a complete picture for each person.
Mhm.
mhm,
Um, and also affirmed other people who may be like wondering a little bit about their read, and then to hear other
mhm,
people kind of like affirmed, like, oh yeah, that's right. That is true.
mhm,
So that exercise, that was a really good one. The reunion fantasy was also totally awesome. And that's like one of the kind of questions that I would edge away from personally, because I don't even want to think about 5 years from now. So I'm glad I was pulled into a bit of discomfort on that one.
mhm,
Yeah.
Laura, why don't you want to think about 5 years from now?
I feel like I can't even think about getting through tomorrow, let alone the next 5 years, the things that need to happen for me in a 5 year time frame, a divorce, a death of a parent,
mhm,
saying, ushering my children off into the
Mhm.
world, leaving a profession I've been with for years and years and years. And
mhm.
I mean, I can only think of baby steps. It's so much. I just have to take one step at a time.
Yeah, that's why it was a dream. And then why we brought you guys back to the present of like, where are you in life right now? And
Mhm.
um, we we did obviously spend a lot of time and intentionality discussing like what today was going to look like. Malia, you were going to share?
I was just going to share how I really enjoyed the fantasy exercise. I like to think about the future. I'm kind of a future oriented, goal oriented person. So that was really nice. I thought it also was kind of like a good bookend to starting with kind of what brought us into the counseling field. And then it was like continuing that into the
Mm,
future. But then as Laura was sharing, I'm like, oh, yeah, but I'm also a lot of other really difficult, crappy things are going to happen in the next 5 years. So now I'm thinking about that. But yeah, yeah, yeah. So kids that will be out of the house, mom I'm
mhm.
caring for who has severe Alzheimer's, who probably won't be here anymore. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Same
um,
thing. Yeah.
yeah, it's
Mhm,
really, but it's good to have those goals to kind of
mhm,
to hold those two things together. That's what we're learning how to do is to hold the difficult
mhm.
and the hope, together.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Plus, I feel like it forces us to manifest.
Yeah.
And so I'm grateful for the invitation to manifest. Hmm.
Which I'm glad you mentioned that, Laura, because I think the book explains one of the purpose as being that it forces you into thinking about what are you going to do and how are you going to get there. And I think that there was at one point where you said, like, I'm actually not sure if I'll change my mind, which I agreed that I feel the same way. The book also mentions that how that's fine. You might not know exactly where you'll be in 5 years, but that's a response in itself. Um, I was surprised at how much more I learned about everyone. I feel like we've learned so much about our past and current struggles, but hearing about what our futures will hopefully look like, it was interesting. And like I said earlier, inspiring to
Mhm.
hear what we're all striving for. But yeah, that was a good one.
Yeah, I think we, to Ariel's point, we did have three additional questions that we didn't even need to use because the the prior few were meaty and like it allowed, I think, space and room for thought. And um, I when I was reading through the Townsend book and I came across the gifts, I was like what a beautiful way to close. And I think, yeah, just affirm each other. And I do I think that we all have gifts naturally, and it's interesting to hear how that's all represented in things that people were sharing, right? Like I see this in you and I see this in you and I see the same thing, and some things that weren't mentioned or like specifically highlighted, but I think that it just it allows us to learn more about ourselves and how people are viewing us, and that leads to greater self-reflection also, and um improvement overall. And so, yeah, I'm grateful that it went smoothly and um, that you guys felt as though it was a good ending.
Mm.
I agree, Carly. It's a huge responsibility. And I'm sure Laura felt the same way because she was the first one.
Starting.
Yeah,
Mhm.
to start it, I felt for her. That's why when I saw that she was doing it with so much confidence, I was like, oh my goodness, she must have done this a million times already. But I felt that responsibility today too. Wow, we have to make sure we end on a good note. I think we did. So I'm glad.
Mhm. Totally.
Mhm.
Well, even like the fact that y'all started it with like giving an opportunity for closure. Like you're
Mhm.
like, is there anything in any of the past
Mhm.
sessions that y'all wanted to talk about that was like maybe unresolved? I really loved how you gave space for that. Um, and I just felt like this whole, like, even just everything y'all did just really allowed for a lot of closure because we processed a lot of feelings.
Mhm.
Um, so I can't even imagine like what y'all were thinking when y'all were developing y'all's plan together. Like, what did that look like?
Well, we set up a Zoom. Like, so I, like Malia, was in Hawaii and I left okay, so we did processing on when, like, our group was on Wednesday and I left the following morning. But Cynthia and I got together the Tuesday prior and made sure that we were outlining and just kind of taking the time and space to consider what would be a good ending. And then I was gone and it was like, okay, well, let's reconnect again um, the day before. So we were in communication, right? And like we decided that we were going to meet again yesterday to just kind of finalize things, go over anything, tweak things here and there. And um, I think it was a lot of good discussion back and forth of like, I think this would be a good idea, or we should do it this way, or let's add this. And it was Cynthia's idea to do the reunion fantasy, and I was like, oh, that's a good one. And like, okay, what's the fantasy going to be? And so then it was just like very collaborative, and so I think it felt that in how it felt natural to you guys, it felt natural to us in co-leading and planning, like before we even got started today.
Yeah, totally.
And I think co-leading can sometimes be like this, where the co-leaders really do bounce off of each other in a productive way.
Mhm.
But co-leading can sometimes not be that way. And I've experienced that
Mhm.
as well, where you're just like, oh my gosh, I just want to go home and work on this by myself because I feel like we're not lining up and this is feeling like disjuncted and disorganized. So it's probably just a testament to the fact that our group really had a lot of symbiosis going on in it,
Mhm.
and you guys are the last couple to come up. So
Mhm.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you so much for sharing. I know I initially felt a little nervous about us like self-disclosing just because since we are like putting on the hat of being the leaders today and because since we co-led, the group got a little smaller, right? From like normally five, it's now four. But Carly like encouraged that we should, and I thought it was the best idea, the best thing that we could have done because it was also a reminder like, hey, we're still a group, especially because we connected together these past couple of weeks. So I think it would have been, I don't think it would have been as favorable if we wouldn't have shared personally as much as we did today.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
I'm glad that Carly mentioned that.
I agree with you.
Yeah.
Yeah, y'all joined in so much that I kept forgetting. I was like, just wait. I was waiting for y'all to go first, and I was like, no, they're the leaders. Like you need to go. But yeah, I didn't feel that until probably like midpoint that our group just kind of shrunk a little bit.
Mhm.
But y'all were I felt like y'all invested just as much as any other person did. And so yeah, that definitely carried it. Like knowing that y'all were going to end off the questioning with y'all's sharing, um, I was like, okay, then they're going to take it to where it needs to go. So,
Mhm.
yeah.
Yes, that was the intentionally like, okay, we're gonna segue from this to this, right? Like planning those moments of transition in a way that felt natural and moved from one topic or question to the next, from the activity to a question or whatever. Um, yeah, I it was nice having somebody to bounce ideas off of, right? And like that you guys as individual leaders didn't get to experience. Um, but I think then too, we were cognizant of the fact that, okay, there's two of us. And so, like you said, Ariel, now the group is smaller. And so, how are we going to make sure that the time is filled appropriately and still like be leading it, but not over disclosing or oversharing or monopolizing the conversation, right? And so, um, or having it just be like the two of us and everyone else just looking like okay, you know. And so I think it yeah, it was a good process though. And I think co-leading, to Laura's point, can be a beautiful thing or it can be a very terrible thing depending on the personalities. And so yeah,
Yes.
yeah,
Mhm.
thankfully
And
everyone here, we could have co-led with anyone and it would have been fine.
for sure.
Yeah.
But you guys also put in a lot of time and preparation, it sounds like, which is the
We did.
reason that it went well. I mean, even having great personalities and, kind people working together, if you don't put in the work to
Mm-hmm.
plan those transitions and decide when you're going to talk, when you're not going to talk, and it would have been disjointed and disjuncted.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, so you guys definitely put a lot of planning and work into it, and that's why it went so well. So thank you for that.
Yeah.
Same. I would same that Malia is saying. Like I would argue that it would be. I would feel maybe a little bit more difficult because two people would definitely. You would have your own vision for what it would look
Mm-hmm.
like. So at least myself, I think it would be a little bit challenging to co-lead because I would have my idea of what it was going to look like, where it needs to go. So yeah, like the fact that y'all were able to do it, just very fluid. And it seemed like y'all had been co-leading for years.
Mhm.
Like y'all were like a old married
Mhm.
couple. I'm like, oh my goodness, they're just playing off
But
of each
we don't
other's
argue though,
sentences.
right?
Nice.
Yeah, I think it helped though that we had the last few weeks to kind of to get to know each other and then also like use our strengths individually, right? And make them shine collaboratively. And I think that that was it was a gift and we're grateful to have been able to co-lead.
Yeah, this is all great feedback. Thanks, everyone.
Mhm.
I also just want to say even the last, because when y'all talked about wanting to do one last activity, I was like, yeah, sure. But in my mind, I'm like, how long is this going to take? They want to do one last activity and there's just like 3 minutes left. How are we going to do this? But I like the activity because it directly related to what Professor Gordon was talking about, how um she said this will be it won't be the last time that y'all talk to each other, but this is the last time that you will be processing this issue with this group in this setting. And so um having us find a song to connect with the memory of being with you guys, I thought was just so sweet. Um and kind of like made it like not so like such a bitter ending. It's like, okay, I'll have a song that connects to this season that I processed with these ladies. So, yeah.
Mm.
I'm
That's a
glad.
beautiful way of putting it.
Yeah, I was gonna say a lot of these songs that you guys wrote in were new to me, so I'm excited to listen to them.
Yeah, now we have a little like processing group soundtrack, right?
Yeah.
We should drop all of our names in our group chat because like I just know everybody by number and I play a guessing game.
Okay.
I
And
will.
everybody share their song in the chat or songs. I think that would be helpful.
It
Yeah.
would.
Are you guys all Spotify users or Pandora, Apple Music?
Apple.
With
Apple.
Apple. Okay. Well, I can find it on Spotify, so there's that.
You mean the chat here?
No, the one our group, our text feed.
Oh, our
Yeah.
group
You can
text.
send like a YouTube link.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
works too.
Oh, got
I
it.
love that.
Okay.
That way we can have it on our phones.
Baby Jude's favorite song is Can You Feel the Love Tonight?
Oh, is there a reason for that, Barbie?
Because I like play Lion King soundtrack like it's going
Oh,
out of style.
I love that
Okay.
song. It's
That's a
such a
good one.
good one.
I was thinking it was like his conception song or something.
Oh no. That's let's take it to
Can
the
you even
limit by the
imagine?
Eagles.
Oh,
Can
Take It to the
you
Limit by the
feel?
Eagles. Oh
Oh,
man.
that's
The Eagles, that's a
disgusting.
good one. Take It to the Limit. That's funny. Well, you're there, aren't you?
We took it to the limit. His middle name was almost Prosecco.
Oh my
That's
goodness.
funny. That's funny.
Uh, okay. Well, we are at time, you guys. So if you would please just the last thing, since Barbie needs to save all of our phone numbers with a name attached, can you put your names back in the group text feed and then put your songs in there so that we have a little soundtrack to our life at this point in
I
time?
got
And then,
Laura's number.
okay, that's one.
That's one.
And then
Are you
also
guys
don't forget to send the AI notes or the link to the video.
Sounds
I
good. Well,
use that when I make my post.
okay.
Yeah.
have you guys
Cynthia
been
is
using
recording. What?
No, go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say Cynthia's recording and we'll have all of that access and she'll share it once we're done later.
Yeah. I'm not sure how long it normally takes for a 2-hour meeting, but once it's processed, I'll send it
Oh, I
over.
know. It takes a while. Yeah. No,
Yeah.
don't worry. I don't mean like tonight, but I'm just saying like eventually
Yeah,
before
yeah.
the
Mhm.
assignments due.
Yes,
You
yes.
guys graduate in like a year and a half.
Yes.
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 Oh,
Yeah.
we should
And
all eat Din Tai Fung together.
Oh, I
uh,
love Din Tai Fung. The chocolate dumplings. Oh my goodness, I dream about those.
Or the garlic green beans.
Oh yeah.
mm, yeah.
But
Oh,
I'm
wait,
all the
Sounds
way in the
good.
Midwest, so.
are you going to come out for graduation, Barbie?
Oh yeah, I'm gonna bring baby Jude.
Yeah, he'll be a toddler at that point.
He will.
Hmm.
He'll be a little shit.
No doubt. No
Oh
doubt.
my gosh, I hadn't even thought of graduation. That's kind of a nice thought.
Yeah.
You guys
This
can
is
We
all
get
meet.
to see
going
each
somewhere.
other.
Yeah.
We're not just doing all this work for fun.
We're going
I
to get
Yeah.
mean,
something out of
I
this.
didn't, yeah, I just figured we'd get it in the mail or something. Like I didn't even like
Oh
compute that we're
no.
gonna actually get to walk.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. Yeah. Well, we hope to see you all there. I am, SoCal native, so it won't be far for me, but I hope that everyone can make the trip. It'd be
Isn't
great to see you
everyone
all.
in California besides me and Ariel?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's why
I'm
me and
northern.
Ariel were like, oh my God, it's 9 o'clock.
Yeah.
Oh,
I'll
that's
be
fine.
asleep.
But it's only 4 o'clock. It starts at 4 o'clock here, you guys. So like I'm barely even getting off of work, picking up my kid, and then like I'm rushing through the door to like start this. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Same. I
Yeah.
didn't get home till 6:45.
Oh, well, work in education, friend. That's get them school hours.
I'm telling you, I'm gonna blow
Yeah.
that popsicle stand tomorrow. Be like,
Yeah.
Good luck
Yes.
with that.
thank you.
Whatever.
Yeah. Wow. That's big.
Yeah. I'm excited to hear what your next journey is.
I know.
You're ready for
Keep
it.
us updated.
It's
Yeah.
probably gonna be OnlyFans, but we'll
Whatever
That'll
it
be hilarious.
Do you have cute
yeah.
feet?
You're like nursing.
Nursing with like spaghetti noodles and stuff.
That's
Somebody
why
has a
your
nursing.
favorite singer is Dolly Parton. I was like, of course, because she has big boobs and she's blonde and cute. I was like, they're more
Oh,
like
yes.
sisters. Yeah. But I love Dolly. I love that
Mhm.
one movie too where she was, man, I can't remember what it was, but she was playing her guitar with her longo nails.
Mm.
And how I remember like as a kid watching that, learning how to play guitar, and I'm like, how did she
That's
do
how I
that?
learned how to play guitar, is Dolly Parton.
Wow.
Mm,
Hmm.
she's an incredible talent and human
Hmm.
for sure.
Hmm.
She is.
Yeah. All right, you guys. Any final thoughts or anything to share before we sign off?
Thank you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah,
This
Yeah,
is
of
thank
awesome.
you.
Thank
Mm.
you.
course.
Peace and love.
Yes.
Always.
Hi
The
guys.
How do the millennials, or no, I'm a millennial. The Gen Zers do it like this. It's super weird. It doesn't even look like
That's
a heart.
dumb.
I can't.
Looks like gangster scissors.
I
A good description.
can't do it like that.
Oh,
That's
I
a
like
good one too.
Ariel.
I
Yeah.
know. I was
Ooh,
gonna
Oh, there you
say
go,
that's a
that's
good
another
Ariel.
one.
one.
I can't
That's
make my
actually kind of
fingers.
difficult.
I
Do that.
yeah,
Yeah.
I'm not even gonna
My
Oh,
fingers
try.
don't want to
I
do
got
that.
it. I
Amazing.
think I got it. Yeah. Okay. It feels like claws, though. I don't like it.
Yeah, this feels more natural.
Yes. Agree.
All right,
All right, you
everyone.
guys. Good
Hi, guys.
night.
Good
Okay,
night.
Night.
bye.
Bye.